In case you missed it, the news wrote, prosecutors may have destroyed any chance Melly had of being released from this case. They're forcing Bortlen to snitch on him. Pray for Melly. As the prosecutors submitted paperwork to try Melly and Bortlen together for the next trial for one specific reason.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together. It just more efficient. You don't have to do things again and again. Do it all at once, and also you get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. You're seeking the penalty on one, not the other, but that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
It's common sense if Bortlen knows he didn't commit this serious crime. He won't physically be able to sit there and take life in prison to the chin, making it likely he will point the finger at Melly, as they will use this interrogation interview between Bortlen and the police.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Man, I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home, you know what I'm saying? And like, just out of nowhere, like, I just heard, you know what I'm saying? So, and I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car,
hey, well, Ashley,
and I almost crashed the car.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
I was coming from the studio, from Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
I took I-75, 595 to
75.
Expressway. Yeah.
Then you took 75 south?
It's clear to the officers that Bortlen's story isn't adding up to anything. Bortlen is trying to stay as confident about his story, trying to make it seem realistic, but he ended up getting caught in his lie.
Here's the hard part, where we're having a hard time to understand, is that we shut down that entire area, and we had the officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as one shell casing. They didn't find one piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And it's hard.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro, that's like...
I mean, for whatever reason, your two friends, are these your good friends?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These my... Like,
these are your two, I'm assuming, close friends.
Yeah, we got...
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth, sir. I don't, like, what do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. How can I tell you about a shell case?
However, the interrogation would just go south. Bortlen begins getting angry as the officers aren't fully believing his story about the crime.
I told y'all the story, and that's it, bro. I don't even talk about it anymore. Like, cause I told y'all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Okay, just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. And we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
Commonly, when the criminal in the interrogation hits this point of the interview and refuses to talk, it's the officer's job to reset the playing field. The goal is to continue to ask questions, hoping either the criminal will mix his story up and share different details than what he originally said, or accidentally say too much. The officer resets the conversation as he continues to ask questions about the moment during the drive-by. How was Bortlen driving? Did he crash into anything, and more?
Let's talk about why. Are you having issues with anyone?
I mean, we are upcoming artists and stuff, so people like, when you like start doing better than people, they start hating and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
So you had some jealousy issues?
Yeah, like jealousy issues, but I haven't really been on there, but like he my friend that's way now, God bless, he was telling me like, right, he always telling me about how people, just like today he was telling me some folks from up our way.
What's up your way?
Like Vero Beach, like that's where I used to stay. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up there. So that's our hometown. You know what I'm saying?
So what did your friend say about from Vero Beach? What was he saying to you?
He was saying basically just like they go on like Instagram, Facebook. Like.
With time running out and their allowed interrogation time, the officer would flat out ask, "If you know who did this, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS, okay? And it's a simple question. If you knew who did this, okay? You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly?
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
Because I wouldn't want to be a part of that. I wouldn't want to be.
Where Bortlen doesn't give a firm yes or no answering using his voice, instead he shakes his head no. This is because if it was Melly who did it, Bortlen would know. Saying no to the officer could have caused his voice to crack or be in a different pitch than the rest of the interview. Due to his lying, this was an obvious indicator to the police that Bortlen knows a lot more than what he's sharing. For these reasons, Melly was denied his bond. However, it gets a lot worse when understanding the entire situation. It was announced on May 12th, a judge ruled that the Florida rapper must stay behind bars until the retrial begins in September. He's been incarcerated for 6 years fighting the case in which he's accused of the murder of Juvy and Sakchaser, two former friends. As Melly, alongside his family, was convinced he would be released from jail, this was his mother after 1 out of 6 charges were accepted for bond.
We just still praying. I know I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it could come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, stop. I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming, you know.
As it was announced, Melly gets bond on 1 out of 6 of his charges. He's been locked up for over 2,200 days without a bond, even despite a previous mistrial. Everything pointed in the direction of Melly getting released from jail, but the prosecutors did something disturbing to Melly by creating deals with Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, and his best friend, Bortlen. Mariah was hiding out of the United States during Melly's original trial. She was supposed to testify against him, but never showed up, making her wanted by police.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
After being in lockup for some time, she was let out after she signed a deal, agreeing to testify against Melly. But this is terrible for Melly. She wrote on Facebook, "And to my village, I love y'all so much. God's plan, not mine." They found disturbing evidence in Mariah's iCloud account relating to Melly forcing her not to testify in the trial, which is known as witness tampering. It carries a life sentence in prison, regardless of whether Melly took out Sakchaser and Juvy.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
But the witness tampering case is also separate from the case with Juvy and Sakchaser's passings. Due to his witness tampering with the jail phones, Melly hasn't been allowed to use a phone for several months. His mother even spoke about it in an interview, saying he doesn't even get to look at his mail either.
My son has not been convicted of anything, and even other inmates that have been convicted or anything, they have the right to use a telephone. They have a right to just to be allowed to write letters to their loved ones, to receive their mail. They hold his mail, they don't give it to him.
But if it's true Melly's been witness tampering on the phone, that's why it's restricted from him. And it's unlikely they'd keep him off the jail phones unless they already had proof of it. Otherwise, it could lead into a large lawsuit. But what's worse is they're gonna use Bortlen to snitch against Melly in his retrial. Because in the original trial, Melly's lawyers already tried throwing Bortlen under the bus for the crime.
Those were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of a car with 2 bodies, car riddled with bullets. And when he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged a firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having a phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in his pocket, not Cortland Henry.
As it's always been Bortlen who's lied to the feds, he's the one who had firearm powder on his hands, revealing he was there when the crime happened, and that Juvy and Sakchaser were last seen with Bortlen. They even brought up a forensic scientist who investigated the passings, and she spoke about the powder on Bortlen's hands.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of shot residue and two component particles. And the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of shot residue and 1 2-component particle.
Okay. And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was shot residue present on the hands.
Bortlen didn't like this, so when Melly's mistrial was announced, he tweeted out, "Mind games don't work on people like me," alongside a handshake emoji, as if he's accepting a deal. However, Melly's lawyers are appealing the judge's decision of no bond and repackaging it to present it in court. You tell me if you'd release Melly with lawyers writing, Melly's legal team proposed posting an unspecified bond to be paid by his record label, 300 Entertainment. If granted bond, they assured the judge that Melly would be on house arrest, wear an ankle monitor, and hire security to keep tabs on him. It was so good, a rapper wrote, "That boy Melly coming home, I feel it." And for Melly's mom, this is huge, because she's been breaking down recently, saying how she feels helpless for his son inside jail, who isn't being treated like a human.
When you saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life, as a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
They would then bring up evidence from the original trial, which proves Melly didn't commit the crime in the Jeep, as GPS evidence proves he was sprinting down a street and hiding a bush around the time the crime happened.
That would be the part where he's saying that someone just shot the car up and was trying to shoot them. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, there's a car coming behind him, like hiding. He was like, there's some, there's some, I think they're still out here or something. So I'm like, are you okay? He's like, I'm okay. I said, well, where are Sak and Juvy? And he said, I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're.
But to back up the theory of a drive-by being the cause, they revealed to the new judge no firearm was ever found. Melly's lawyers claim it was a drive-by, and that the guilty party drove off with the firearm.
So the first thing is I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which firearm I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this determination because I don't know what firearm was used.
Okay.
However, the prosecutors will give as much as they can to keep Melly in jail, as they'd already brought up the phone evidence of Melly possibly admitting to the crime.
The PC Gambino account asked him if he was okay, and his response was, I did that, and placed a smiley face emoji.
And the next message from 10/26/2018 at 16:02 from Eastern Standard Time. The YNW Melly count says what?
After that, SHHHH.
Also found on Melly's phone was Facebook Live video of Bortlen and Melly dancing around, being happy, only hours after the crime happened.
Melly still turned regardless of what happened this early morning. He's still out here being very positive. Turned still. Hey! No, still turned, regardless of what happened. You already know.
As they showed no sadness for the passing of their two best friends, but a new interesting piece of evidence comes from a rogue O-Block member, who revealed that Melly's motive for the crime was that he didn't want to share his finances anymore with Sakchaser and Juvy.
Did Vaughn really tell you that Melly told him that he was two friends?
He ain't come out and say, like, we got into an argument. And so, you know, if you know, when people could say something without saying it. And so he told me, like, once I posted what I posted, Von was mad at me. Bro, why you put up there, bro? Walter Bam. I'm like, you sitting up here, like, you know the love we got. You do this for us, but you gonna trust that his two friends? And he said, them was trying to extort him. And so I'm like, if they was trying to extort him, then why are you still around them?